Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Life Pro Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jost, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jost.
Hey there, y'all. I'm so excited. Okay, we've had a lot of tech issues today, and we're still here. So today is going to be an amazing show. We are going to be talking about integrity, and I'm in my pajamas, and because that's tons of integrity, right? It's like, this is my comfy zone for sure. And I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I literally have to put my robe on. This is my robe. This is my comfy spa robe that I bought myself. I splurged and bought it from Macy's when I moved down south. And I bought a bunch of them for my friends, Sherry and Juliet, when they came to come stay with me. And I'm the only one that absolutely loves my robe, because this tells me I have big, long, fluffy sleeves. And this tells me that I cannot do dishes. I cannot do housework. I cannot do paperwork. I can't do anything because it flops around. So this is my comfy zone. So integrity has to do with knowing ourselves, right? And so this I know about myself. I know that I will work too much, too long, or always stay busy when I need to sit back, relax, take a breath, enjoy, let my angels talk to me, let the universe conspire to help me. And I can't do that if I'm always on the hamster wheel, running, going. Even if it's all fun, if I keep my calendar so completely busy, I'm not in my own integrity because I don't even know who the hell I am. So if we can actually relax, take some time for some silence, take some time just to get to know us, I am in more integrity with myself, getting to know myself. I hope that makes sense. So we have my soul sisters today. This is my soul sisters series. Unfortunately, a couple people have had some issues and they're not here, but Denise is going to try to pop on. Everybody's going to try to pop on later. So we'll just go with the flow today. So I'm reading at 1, and whenever anybody comes in, you just go ahead and pop them in. We will handle it. Okay, so integrity. What the Google Wonderful says is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. So I feel like that's judgment. Now, I know I'm a girl and I know that I'm almost 60, and judgment and how you should act and act and learning from growing up. Kids do not speak until they're spoken to. Girls are nice and sweet and quiet and cook in the kitchen. Like all these things that I grew up with doesn't necessarily lend to my integrity for me, Jennifer Jost. Like, who am I? And what does integrity mean to me? So I think we need to kind of look at this word, because there's so many different areas in our life that integrity means something. So as a business owner, I have staff, right? I have clients. I own a couple companies, actually 3 now. And I need to show up with full integrity. This is my definition of integrity. What you think is what you say, is what you do, and is how you feel. So really how you feel is what you think, is what you say, and what you do. Anyone that's been around trauma in their life, or dysfunction or betrayal, anybody cheated on you, if you have any trust issues, lose money anywhere, anything like that at all, when someone doesn't have integrity, I can feel it. Like it is tangible to me and it's scary as heck. So I'm out. Like if I hear you saying something about how you feel or what you want to do and you do the opposite, I'm out. Like that scares me. I shouldn't say I'm out. My walls go up, right? All of my bubbles go up and I put my little, my Wonder Woman little wrist anklets around me, wrist shooting off energy because I get scared and I get triggered, I should say. So I really need people around me who have integrity, which means they're honest. And we all change our feelings and thoughts and emotions, right? So you're honest for the time that you are. And superficial conversations don't work for me because I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you, your heart, your soul, your spirit. I want to know everything about you. And if you don't know yourself, I can't get to know you. So I'm not a good soccer mom or, superficial conversation. Like I want to get into the nitty gritty. Like, where's your pain? Where's your excitement? Where's your passion? What lights you up? And in order to do that, we have to have integrity to actually know that about us, right? Ms. Petalyn joining me. I love you, hon. Thanks so much for popping on. You're good. Denise has tech issues. Caron will be in later, possibly. So we'll just see. We'll just add them all as they come in. So I'm so glad you're here. We are talking about integrity. I just gave the definition of it. It's honesty, right? Honesty and having high moral principles. My definition of integrity is what you feel, is what you think, is what you say, and is what you do. So have you ever had like friends or even clients or anyone in your lifetime that would like, even spouses maybe, parents, family, anybody that say something and do the absolute opposite? And like, that just freaks me out because I have to have integrity throughout. Does that make sense, Petalyn? Talk. I need to know if we can hear you.
You're kind of cutting out. I don't know if it's me or you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I think it might be. Yeah, I got you.
Yes. I'm going to use my headphones.
Okay, we're going to let her move on. Hey, Denise, thanks for joining us. So
hey, Miss Jennifer.
What's your definition of integrity?
Well, I printed out a definition of integrity because I wasn't sure what I would use, but I think I got it now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Okay, sorry. Let me turn me down.
Yep, we got you too, P.
Okay.
First time new setup, so this is definitely different. I can't see you guys. You're like this big.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
You look gorgeous, by the way. You look gorgeous in your fountain. So thank you for taking care of the technical difficulties and jumping on.
No worries. I was thinking about it, and you know me, I definitely print stuff out, but for me, I think it has to do with being honest, right? Being in touch with my values, my own personal value system, and being honest with others, so they can trust me, essentially, right? So they can actually get to know me, see who I am, see my heart, and I don't know, like it goes for me hand in hand with being trustworthy.
Yep, I love that, and that's exactly what the definition says. Petalyn, what's your definition of integrity?
So, yeah, I think I think that's all true for me. But when I lean into the word myself, so that all sounds very outer directed for me, and so when I try that on, I notice that it sets up a stress level inside of me. And so when that happens, I feel like I want to pull it back to an even more foundational definition.
Okay.
And so for me, it's trying to discover what's true for me, and to try to be truly honest about that, if you will, to the extent that I even know myself, right? That's an ongoing conversation, right? So integrity is kind of a live thing. It's dynamic. It's not a conclusion or conclusive, right? So it's an ongoing relationship. And when I sort of pull it back to that foundational sort of a definition, if you will, it feels much more exciting and much less stressful. And then hopefully what I exude from there is at least honest, even if it is, I don't freaking know, I don't know what integrity in X, Y, and Z is yet, or I'm just sort of experimenting with that or whatever it might be. So yeah, so I guess that's kind of, yes to all of those definitions, but the difference is just, is it outer focused for me or is it inner focused, and which one can I really live with sustainably, if that makes sense.
Continuously. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to call you on your shit, everybody, and you can pass if you want, but I want everyone to notice how we all three answered it completely different. And I need someone to watch me and what I said earlier, so we'll see. However, Denise definitely lended it to other people trusting her. So she's looking at, yes, I'm honest, which you are one of my most honest people that I've ever met, right? You're totally honest. And it is how you are portraying yourself to the world. And I have to do that obviously in business, right? I'm dealing with people's money. If I'm not trustworthy, holy crap, just call me Bernie Madoff, right?
Right.
So yeah, call me Bernice, right?
We don't want to call you Bernice. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. Well,
I sure my financial planner and coach, so no, thank you.
Well, we'd be a lot richer, Denise, if I was Bernice. So just so you know. And then I love how Petalyn is on her quest right now. Is everything that you do, Petalyn, is internal. Like, I love it. Like, I love everything's internal. Mm-hmm. So, and then I feel like I'm a mixture of the two because I have been internal. And here's the thing, right? No love relationship in my life for almost 10 years. I think it's around that. I haven't even looked at the date or whatever, but no one significant in my life for a long time. So it's just me. So Luna, my cat, obviously thinks I'm full of integrity because I feed her every day, right? So when we don't have somebody pointing fingers at us, we might not know when we fall out of integrity. But I like how Petalyn said it's from the inside working out. I need to know myself. Before I can show up in front of someone else, I need to know myself. And then I love how Denise said, it has to do with trustworthy. So before you all popped on, I was talking about trauma, dysfunction, betrayal, all of that crap in our history. When that comes up, we dig into integrity, right? Or we dig into honesty, or we have a different look about it, like what my expectations are of other people for me to be safe. Does that make sense? Does any of that resonate with anyone?
Yeah, we sink to the level of our training.
Go ahead.
We sink to the level of our training, whatever our pattern or habit is, right?
Okay, so our pattern are what our learned behaviors. Right?
Whatever we practice. Yeah.
Yep. Whatever we've practiced it, like our coping mechanism growing up, right? We had to form in an alcoholic home. There was a lot of secrets in my house, going out, talking to other people. There was a lot of secrets that I didn't really share with a lot of people, except for maybe like Diana, my bestie, and maybe one or two other people. And that's it, that actually saw what happened inside my home on a daily basis. So that does definitely create secrets and create shame and create a lack of integrity, I would say. Denise, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I'm really sorry that I missed what you shared earlier. So I'll definitely go back and re-listen. So
that's my cue because there's another listener.
I know it all. No, it's fabulous. But I love what you shared. And yes, I can think in terms of my own history, the time that I was most out of integrity and felt the worst in my life experience was the most shameful. And also the time that I felt the most betrayed because of trauma and lying and all of that. So, yes, so it makes sense.
So let me ask you
And
this,
I love
Denise.
that Caron popped on. Yay!
Hi, Caron. Miss Caron Kavanagh joined us.
Woo-hoo.
It looks so great. Soul Sisters are back, bitches. Look out. Okay. So we're diving in, Caron. You know us. So,
Yep.
Denise, does that mean that, let me see, of betrayal? So do you have a different outlook around integrity due to the betrayals that you have experienced?
I think the betrayal that I experienced rocked me to my core because I was so out of alignment with it kind of goes back to what I shared personally for me, because it's an external and internal. I love how you pulled this out, Jennifer, that, with Petalyn's comments, she is very internally focused. Mine seemed very externally. And I do think there's both, right? Because in order to know what your values are, you have to seek and look inward to know yourself before you can then reflect and think about how you're reflecting outward, right? And for me, we hope, yeah. At this time in my life, this was years ago, I should point out, like this wasn't just yesterday. But I have been brought up to be a person who's honest and trusting and trustworthy and community focused and family focused. And, you don't lie to your friends and your colleagues and your family or the people in your world. And so this was an experience that definitely shook everything up, because I didn't actually believe that people could do that.
How old were you?
How old was I?
Ish.
I was probably in my late 30s.
Okay.
Early 40s.
So then you created some patterns after that. Just say yes. We know you did.
Sure. I had patterns before that.
Yeah, well, we know that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and again, it's not the Denise show here, so I don't mean to keep it on me, but I mean, I think it's, yeah, sure. If that's the way we're going with this, yes, you create patterns based on what you go through.
Good job. Thanks for playing
Sure.
my game show, Denise. I appreciate it. Okay, Ms. Caron.
You're welcome.
What is your definition of integrity? Is the first question that we all answered.
Oh my God.
Well, I think for me, it's the word is as simply as alignment.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's kind of being in alignment, and others being in alignment. Sometimes it's in alignment with words and actions being congruent and in alignment, right? As integrity, whether it's with ourselves or with others. But I think for me, that's kind of like, I know I'm probably oversimplifying it, but integrity and alignment to me go very much hand in hand.
Yeah, we all kind of said a little similar. I'm the same way with like if someone says something and they do something different, I'm out. I put all my walls up, my bubble goes up. I'm in my little gold bubble and I'm out. Like I can't, because it scares me from past experiences. That's how we got into past experiences.
Yep.
Okay, so I got to call Petalyn on it because I saw the face when I said something. And I need to know her
That was so many somethings ago, I don't remember.
I know, right? It was a lot of somethings ago. It was so good.
We know the face.
We know the face, right? I got a call on the face. Like it was
it wasn't when I said something.
No, it was me. It was my statement. And then I went to you, Denise. And then Petalyn was like, yeah, no, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's what that looks like.
That's not what I was thinking. You're projecting there.
I'm projecting.
My brain goes, let's look at that.
Let's talk about that. Let's dish on that.
If we can remember that, we'll bring it back up later. But I love your
you
faces.
Can't call me on something you can't remember. So
I know, shit.
Moving on.
I was hoping it'd pop
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was it? Petalyn, what do you remember it being?
I don't know. Hell, like you said, that was many
she does that all
ago.
The time.
That's her RBF.
What is the RBF?
Oh,
My resting bitch face. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Forgive my
Oh.
appearance. You guys all look so beautiful. I was literally in the middle of a reading, and so I was checked out entirely, and just finished up. I haven't even recorded it yet. When I looked at my phone and saw Jennifer was like, "Are you coming?" It's like, holy crap! so I literally I'm not prepared at all.
You're all good. This is integrity, right? We're supposed to be in our pajamas.
I promised I'd be here. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, no, you're gorgeous. You're good. We love you. Like, thank you so much. This is so fun. So I want to poke the bear a little bit. So I'd love for y'all to go a little bit deeper if you could. Of course, love for you to share anything that you'd like to share around integrity. And what maybe a story, since our listeners love stories, right? Maybe a story about integrity that either solidified something for you or changed something for you around integrity. I mean, we've all been betrayed, like everyone's been betrayed somewhere, right? But a time maybe where you've been betrayed or hurt or trauma or abused or anything like that, to where you have changed your thoughts around integrity. And I'll just share, I've like 9 million, but I'll just share a couple right now. Like my dad, and here's another thing. Who taught you integrity? That's a great question too. My dad's whole words ever growing up, honesty is the best policy. Like every day that was drilled into me was just be honest, be honest, be honest, be honest, be honest. And it was all about, it's just going to be so much easier down the road if you're honest. So, and at the same time, I couldn't be honest to the whole world because I had a whole household inside that people didn't know. The household inside people knew, but not the outer world. So the outer world looked different then. So I never felt connected to anyone growing up. And I'm sure you can all relate, right? So, however, that is the gift my dad gave me, was honesty is always the best policy, because once you take that off, then you don't have to worry about anything else, because that's the way it is. And even growing up, raising up my little chitlins, Miss Journey and Parker, like they would always ask me, like Journey would ask me in high school or middle school or whatever, well, I don't want to do this. What do I say? Honesty is the best policy. Just tell me you don't feel like doing it. Like always, that's just always the answer. So I appreciate that. And at the same time, sometimes we can't be honest as we would like to be honest. And we learn patterns to protect ourselves of others' scrutiny, or like being vulnerable, which was another podcast. You all got to listen to that too. Being vulnerable, we kind of don't say it maybe 100% and we hold stuff back. Okay, so I said a whole lot there. So anybody can comment on whatever the hell you want. Karen? Sorry, you've only spoke once. It's your turn.
Oh, God.
Who taught you integrity? That's always an easy one. Have you changed your integrity throughout your life? Have been betrayals?
I would say probably my mother taught me integrity. She was always about seeing the best in people, always, trusting people, letting them be who they are, and just that kind of, my mom, everyone loved my mom. She was just this warm, loving human being. So I would say she probably taught me integrity on one hand, but on the other hand, that's where the incongruency was, because we were all living a lie. I had a very volatile father, and, unless you were around it when it happened, you wouldn't know. Right. And so I was a lot of covering up and a lot of, making excuses for him and, and whatever it was, very codependent behavior. Codependency is out of integrity with self. Right. Which I got that from mama, and she got that from her mama. It's just, God knows how long that went on. So that was so out of integrity, like, lying about it, or pretending that everything's okay, pretending that I'm happy, pretending that, everything is great, is a lie when I'm feeling unsafe and I'm feeling scared and I'm feeling nervous, or, whatever feelings. And, it was never necessarily directed at me, but it was still that fear of, when's the next explosion going to happen? And nobody knew unless you were around when the explosion would happen. You go, oh, what the hell is that? We always thought your dad was such a great guy. Well, he is a great guy when he's happy. And when he's not, he's not.
So you were walking on eggshells a lot then?
Always, my entire life. And so I took that into my relationships. And no surprise, would attract in partners that would emulate those same emotions in me. So not feeling safe, feeling like I had to walk on eggshells, codependent behavior, lying, and making excuses for my partner, whatever that might be. It was like Groundhog Day for me. So, and it's not so much about them because they were doing them. It was really about me being out of alignment and out of integrity with myself. Mm-hmm. And I think we've talked about this in the past where, kind of creating this facade and being who I thought people wanted me to be or who I needed to be in order to be accepted or liked or whatever that is also out of integrity. Right. And it's all, safety mechanisms. Because I'm trying to just, fit in or feel safe or whatever that is, but it's all bullshit. Right. And so until, and so you're quite like, well, when did that shift? I probably started shifting, when I was towards the end of my marriage is when it kind of started shifting. And I started seeing, got like, it wasn't so much like, stop blaming, stop the blaming process, stop blaming mom and dad for the, whatever, stop blaming for all that and stop blaming my ex-husband. It was like, what the hell am I doing here? Right. And it was kind of in that moment that it was like, there was a shift and it was like, okay, I need to get back into figuring out where I'm out of alignment because I'm so far out of alignment. And what does that even look like anymore? And so that really kind of started a lot of my journey moving forward. I
love that. And you say get back into alignment. You probably never were in alignment. You had like all these patterns growing up and you jumped into the marriage and now you're like just trying to survive. So kudos for realizing that and jumping
it's work in progress.
Who the hell Caron is. It's always a work in progress. Like we're going to be doing that until we're, in the ground, like, and then the next lifetime or whatever your beliefs might be. Like, it's an ongoing thing, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Caron. Bless you. Thank you so much for sharing. We really do appreciate that.
Sure.
We appreciate that. And we know and love you. So we know how amazing your parents are.
Or
just in a different reality.
That's true.
All right. Who wants to go next? Where'd you learn integrity? All right, Petalyn, you're up next. You're in the top right corner.
Yeah. I would say a combination of places. I can't not say my mom. I learned integrity from my mom, but she wasn't safe to have integrity around. It wasn't safe. Very, very much like Caron's upbringing, except the volatile person was my mom. And she was my primary caretaker. So we were all so close. So it was a very internally tumultuous type of relationship, right? She was married to my stepdad, and my stepdad and I were never close. So she was my primary relationship in the world, and we moved a lot. So I didn't have a lot of other family or friend infrastructure or anything like that. So there was a lot of dependency on her for my upbringing, my safety, and all of that. Yet she was not safe for me to be that way, to do the things that she required, which was to be honest and tell the truth and all of that. It's like I would do anything but tell the truth. So I developed an adaptive behavior of lying a lot when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And it is an adaptive behavior. And, I want to congratulate our instinct to survive, because as kids, that's our job, just to survive. So whatever way we need to do that at that point in time is great, barring some really bad things, which I think I've covered a lot of the bad things in my life. But clearly I'm stubborn and had to learn through a lot of bad things. It's like, tell me how that works exactly, So how learner. But yeah, so I had to learn integrity. That's why I say, I had to finally give up the stress of trying to please others. And so then I started the 20-year journey, basically from my 20s until my 40s, to trying to figure out how to like reject the whole having to please others. And my first husband was the first person that I didn't feel I had to walk on eggshells around.
Oh, that must have felt
However,
great.
Wow.
I wasn't complete, obviously, because my
Right.
second husband, I felt like I had to walk on eggshells around constantly, right? Not his fault, just,
You went
just,
back to home.
some
Yeah.
triggers, certain triggers, and that's what happens, right?
Yep.
So, and I was with that relationship for, 18 years. So, but I also went to Hoffman and when I was 40, and that really helped me to decouple a lot of the patterns from my reasons for the patterns in the first place. And and that's a process that you go through, and you just keep learning from constantly. So I would say a real crash course in integrity from within, because it's not just first within, then without. It's start within, but it's like Caron said, it's a constant journey. It's a back and forth feedback loop, right? I would say I started really in earnest with Hoffman, when I went to Hoffman.
I love that. I love that. Miss Denise, who taught you integrity, my love?
Well, I would say my parents and my community taught me integrity.
What kind of community? Church community? Family, friends community?
Church community. Well, church community and beyond. We were definitely a family that was community focused. Surprise, surprise. Knowing me, we were a Boy Scout family. So I could recite the Boy Scout motto. I have 4 Eagle Scouts in my family already. And there are 2 more on the way right now, right? That are working hard for theirs.
Can I just say, it makes so much sense that you're the Boy Scout of the group.
Right.
I love it.
It's just, I mean, that's how I grew up, with all of the Boy Scout motto, right? Be brave, loyal, true, honest, community focused. Like, this was so ingrained in me, either at church or in multiple Boy Scout functions that happened during the week, or going out into the community, doing activities with people in the community. It was just this belief, right? Like, this is who you are, and this is how you are, and this is what you do. And our block too, like, we had the best block growing up, where we did things together as a neighborhood. Like, we went on family vacations, multiple families getting together and going camping, and like,
Right.
It's just what we did. So when I kind of alluded to earlier that in my 30s and 40s was when I kind of got the big old pop that, wow, people really lie. Like, it really burst my bubble of what the world is like. And I had a husband too, right? My ex-husband also lied and cheated, which was
What
a
age
big
were you?
ripple at that point.
What age was that?
I was, let's see, I was about 30
Okay.
when that
You had your whole
kinda
20s
happened.
believing the world is all this Boy Scout world in your whole 20s?
100%, full on
Holy
100%.
crap.
And I still do. Like, I feel like I've kind of gotten back to that. Like, that's the thing. You said, what shifted and when did it shift? It's like, my belief system when I went through the horrible trauma in my late 30s, 40s, that rocked me to my core. That was the biggest betrayal. And I mean, I can own it now. But that blew my mind. And I actually couldn't trust myself either. Like, we were talking about self and others, right? Like, I didn't think I could trust myself. And it took me 7 years before I would even date another man, because in my head, all of a sudden, all men lie, right? And all men cheat.
You mean you didn't
Right.
catch that in high school?
No, because
Okay.
I had
Poor thing.
I had a really good boyfriend in high school, right? And then I met my husband when I was 18. Or my ex-husband
Lord.
I met when I was 18, and I was with him. We got married at 28. So it was like You
And
know,
he never lied in your 20s. He was a great person in your 20s. I got to call you.
well,
on this
he
stuff.
did, but that was something that I, ignored.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You were shown the true world in your 20s. You just didn't acknowledge it, see it, and it wasn't aligned with who you were, so you didn't even get it.
Well, and I've come to realize that we all have different things that are important to us. Like why would someone who doesn't believe in stealing ever steal? Right? Well, maybe because they need to feed their children and that's more important, keeping their kids alive, right? Then you might be a little out of integrity and steal because your higher value is, again, survival for your family. And I believe that in my mind, I valued family partnership, developing my own family over the lying piece. I think that's what came. Does that make sense?
Good. So that's a big.
So I became out of integrity and out of alignment
because
I wanted. That was more important to me, right? And I did it in my marriage. I did it while dating. I did it in my marriage, and then I did it with this guy that I was dating, essentially, who I worked with and was told we have to keep our relationship a secret because there's a policy at our company that we can't date each other. And so, which felt very much out of alignment for me because then I'm lying to and I worked really, really hard. This is what was so hard, you guys, because you know me, right? Like I worked so hard not to lie to my colleagues. So they'd be, hey, Denise, not knowing I'm already dating someone in the agency, right? Hey, Denise, I have this great guy for you. And we want to do a double date. How about this weekend? And rather than saying, well, I'm already dating someone or I'm seeing someone, I would say something like, oh, well, I don't really have trouble meeting men. I'm fine, but thank you for thinking of me. So it was like
you hit a really big point right there because in the definition of, I know, sorry. We have 10, I know, I love you. We have 10 minutes left, but this is really good. This is juicy. So like it said in the definition of integrity, honesty and moral principles. So
yes,
we have layers of principles or values and yours for family was more important than truth, honesty, integrity, whatever you want to call it. So you accepted more of the line because of your ideal around the family. I love that.
100%. Even in this instance, like I said, well, we'll date for a little while. And if he is the right guy for me and is going to be my partner that I'm going to start a family with, then I'll just leave the company and that's fine.
I love that. So let me ask Miss Caron and Miss Petalyn, for me, what is your and if you did to have a hierarchy of your values or morals or principles or whatever you want to call them, do you see how Denise is putting family first and then honesty or integrity or alignment or whatever? Now she's very different because I would believe alignment would be first for you. Right, Denise?
Yeah.
But back then it's very different. So would you guys, would you ladies
my biological clock was ticking.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
That never happened.
It does not need to tick for everyone.
No, it doesn't.
Please do not tick for everyone.
No.
True. Right.
It's even more complicating.
Yeah, exactly. So one of my highest ideals and values from my family was not family. It was honesty. It was not family. Like that was not a thing for us. There was 3 of us, right? Like it just, and they still it just never was that kind of a thing. So Petalyn, Caron, you want to comment on maybe the moral hierarchy of some principles or values that you might've had or have? No dead time on a podcast. Chop.
Like Petalyn, I heard you say that you grew up as a coping mechanism. Lying was something that was important to you in order to survive.
So
right?
No, lying was not important
safety.
to me. I hated to lie. It was safety.
Oh,
It was just
Safety.
safety. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was
safety was
how
above.
not to get hit, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
or how to, not even consciously, how to just let the hit happen so that then I could think.
Wow.
You know,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
my mom was one of the worst teachers
That's
in the world.
crazy.
I remember her trying
Wow.
to teach me time, how to tell time, right? And I couldn't hear what she was saying because I just knew that she was going to get impatient because this was the pattern. She'd get impatient. I didn't get it on the first time, or she didn't explain it the way that I could understand it. You know how to explain things to me, right? So, you know, and so then she would hit me, and then she'd go off, like the pressure was released, and then I could then think. And then the first thing I did was I went downstairs to her seamstress that was downstairs. She had a bunch of seamstresses, and I asked her, how do you tell time? And she explained it to me like in 2 seconds. And I was like, that's it. Great. So, you know, so then I knew how to, so, you know, it was just an anxiety thing, you know, it just like there was so safety was the first thing, or just deal with it, let the unsafety happen, and then deal with real life after that.
I remember talking to you, Petalyn, and this is really huge. Thank you so much for sharing your life with us, because I don't understand that part of it. And so I love for you sharing that. Like, if I could just let this happen and get it over with, now I can move on to the next step of healing and moving on, or whatever. But I did everything I possibly could to hide and not get that wrath from my dad. Like we hid on the side of the bed. I'd run away. Like I did everything I possibly could not to catch the crap. And so you're like, it was so often, and it was so part of your, again, I want to say you are so intelligent as a young child. I was not, I was just surviving. And you as a young child thinking, okay, if I just get this over with, I can function after this. Like that's huge.
Well, it was also an adaptive behavior. I mean, at some point it's just like, you know, how do we move this along? I was part of the problem. I couldn't take in any information. So, but I noticed I could take in information once the blow up happened. It's like, okay,
because
so
you were so stressed.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I don't focus anymore on, to me, integrity with self, like you know, Caron named it, alignment. You know, that's a good way to put it. With ourselves, for me, is just the least stressful way to deal with it, because I can't contain everybody else's idea of what that is. It's none of my business, really. You know. So
yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, we have 4 minutes left. That's a minute for everybody. I'll just take my 20 seconds. Integrity is so huge for my safety. So I'm going to go into all of you. Petalyn, for me to be safe, you have to do, think, say, act, whatever. It's got to be alignment, because if you don't, I'm out. Like my triggers go up and I'm afraid because I don't know what your actions are going to be. In my past, the actions were so volatile and so traumatic, and they were immediate and they were a surprise. So I have to gauge my safety on, okay, is the light green and we're all walking? That's great. The light's green, somebody stops still. It's like, what the fuck? Right? It's like, I'm always on guard and aware of what's happening around me at all times, which is why my home is so important. I have to be safe in my home. You have to smile when I walk in. I have to know what you're feeling. I have to know what you're thinking, which is why Luna is perfect for me, because she's always happy to see me. So that is really important for me, to know people and to know what you're thinking. Like the look, we got the Petalyn's look. I know she loves me no matter what. I don't care. Her look's her look. That's great. I'm going to learn more, but I know she loves me no matter what. If we don't know that from the people around us, then our safety goes up. So that's the most important thing for me, is to know my people in my sphere. Okay, that's my takeaway from today. Integrity is huge, because you got to know yourself in order to put yourself out there. I'm going to have Denise go next. 1 minute.
And what is a big takeaway on ourselves?
Takeaway from anything. Takeaway from integrity.
Takeaway on integrity for me, I think, is just that everybody has a different lens that they're looking from in terms of how they see integrity. and what it might mean to be in integrity with themselves or others. So I know
love
I'm
that.
walking
And notice
through.
how. Okay, I'm gonna stop you there because I notice how Denise is looking outward again instead of inward.
but this is her takeaway.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. All right, I just don't want to. You got 2 more minutes, so everybody's got to think. Go ahead, Denise. Smack me. I know. I love you.
You just wasted 30 seconds of my share.
Go ahead.
So it was for me to be. It was for me to be reflective and thinking about people that I meet, and what I need for myself is to be aware of everyone that, I mean, this is me. Like, I think about everybody, and how can it, like, what do other people need? What are their perceptions of integrity? How do we mesh or do we not? Because for me, if you lie to me, I'm out. That's it for me. Like, if you tell me you're going to do something or be somewhere, or this is what I'm promising, you better fucking deliver or I'm out.
I love that. Caron.
So I think my takeaway is similar to what Denise was saying, is really getting a sense of that, realizing that everyone has a different lens for what integrity means to them. And through dialogue and through communication of getting to know people, I mean, that also increases the intimacy, which also can increase the trust. But it's also understanding what that lens is for that particular person, as well as my own. Mm-hmm. And then also, are those lenses in alignment? Was something that someone considers important to them also in alignment with my core beliefs as well.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
And
Petalyn,
that
go sorry, got to cut you off. We got to go. Petalyn, go.
I think that I think we're all looking at it. We're all looking at it from a different emphasis. Basically, it's the same thing, right? It's all the same thing, just a different emphasis depending on what our history has been. And for me, it's always going to come back to self, because my response to somebody else, it's really not about them. It's about how am I going to respond to them? How am I going to show up that might actually help them to stay in integrity, or at least to be honest as possible. So, again, it's always a work in progress. I don't always get it right. In fact, I usually get it wrong. But that's where I want to draw the line. I don't want to tell somebody else what they should be focusing on. I want to
I just did,
encourage. No, I just want to encourage, them to be themselves around me. And as the more themselves they are, I already accept that there's going to be a diversion somewhere. And it's okay. We're all human. I don't ever hold that against them, because my mom would hold that against. She was very rigid. And I cannot live with that. That's a deal breaker for me, because I'm flawed, and if I'm going to be judged according to my flaws, then there's no room for me to breathe.
Oh my God, that's so huge. I love it, ladies. Thank you.
I see a part 2 somewhere down the road.
Fuck yeah. We totally, right? Oh my gosh, that was so good. We're just getting into the deeper stuff. And this is the way everyone needs to communicate, because we need to know your soul, your spirit, your life, your experiences. Thank you all. Please check out all the other soul sisters. These ladies are phenomenal. You do not want to miss what they say. Come back.
Phenomenal.
Check out.
F-U-N, nominal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
We put the fun in phenomenal.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you all so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.